Tennessee Tech head coach Bobby Weiler, a team coming off a loss at Western Illinois this past weekend. This weekend, first ever matchup with Charleston Southern. That will be in Cookeville on Saturday afternoon. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team, and we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, first thing I'm going to do, Kyle, because I'm pissed off right now, is address the scheduling model this league has. The scheduling model at Tech. This is absolutely horrendous. We're a 2-5 football team right now. We're beat up, lost our starting quarterback, and I inherited this when I got here. So first two games FBS, we play at Middle Tennessee. Then we play at Georgia, who's number one in the nation. We get a bunch of kids hurt. Then we come home and play Tennessee State when we're still fairly healthy, even with a backup quarterback, and beat them. That's an only league loss. Tennessee State 6-2, 3-1 right now. And then the league sends us on the road three consecutive times in the league on the road. I don't understand how that's even possible. And we've got to put up with that. So now we're sitting here at 2-5. We're all beat up. Thankfully, we just got our quarterback back. But the big picture of this thing, Kyle, the league has to change this. So we're going to be a one bid league. We've got 9 teams in the league. 5 of us play 7 away games, 5 home. Only 4 teams play 6-6, which is unacceptable. All 4 teams that played 2 FBS money games all have losing records. Western, us, Gardner Webb, and Eastern Illinois, who went into the league preseason number 2 into the year, got the crap beat out of them, and now they're sitting there at 0-3, 1-6. So this whole model has to change. There's a couple teams that have a tremendous model. I give Tennessee State credit; they did a great job. They didn't play any Power Fives. They were 3-1 non-league. I'll give 2 credit out at SEMO, who I happen to notice their AD was in the meetings in January. Phenomenal job by them. They play week 0. They play 3 games by 6 games by in November. They're clearly the top team in the league now. Smart scheduling. They play a 2-5 New Mexico State is their money game, where we go to Georgia and get the crap kicked out of us for money. So I'm pissed about it. This bothers me. This is going to stay a one bid league until leadership decides to make some changes. Because you look at the Missouri Valley, there'll be probably 6 teams in. You look at the Big Sky, there'll be 4 teams in. They got the smart model. They do it right, more home than away. They buy teams to come in to help with the schedule. And we need to fix that at Tennessee Tech, which we're going to. I've talked to the president and the AD. We're going to fix this because it bothers me sitting here with a good team right now that's 2-5, having played 5 of our first 7 on the road and 3 of our first 4 in the league on the road.
Well, you do come home for the next 2 games. Then talk about, like you mentioned, Dylan Leibel. We talked about him for 2 weeks. He played. How was his performance against Western Illinois?
23 for 33, 262 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Need to clean up the turnovers.
Did he make? Will we see him as the starter going forward? Will Jordan Potts be mixed in? How do you use both of them, or do you use both of them at all going forward?
Dylan Leibel's the starter moving forward.
What have you seen about Charleston Southern? And they've kind of come up on a rough stretch of games too, and they played SEMO this past week at home. What do you see ahead of the matchup with?
Well, I'm impressed with how they compete. Same thing. I mean, they've 7 games on the road. They still got to play at Florida State, but man, these guys compete. They're well coached. They played SEMO tough this past weekend. It was still a ball game going into the fourth quarter. Played them a lot better than we did, quite frankly. So I'm impressed with how hard they play, and there's some scheme that's going to be a challenge for us. We got to have a really good week.
I'd ask you about your special teams before. Charleston Southern has some really good special teams. Their punter's one of the top punters in the country. I don't know if you've looked at what they do specialist wise.
Yeah, I'm very, very impressed. Both the punter and the kicker, those guys are both really good. Gabe does a good job with his scheme. They're well coached. This is going to be a really important battle in this game for field position. Our special teams right now are elite. They're playing at a high level nationally. Normally, if your special team adds 40 yards to your game in the hidden yardage, that's really good. We're adding 60 to 80 per game in hidden yardage, which is elite.
Last question, we'll let you go. There were 11, I believe, different receivers who caught passes for you this, or maybe 12 last week. Thoughts about using a bunch of different people? Is that the goal, to use that many people, or do you kind of ride the hot hand depending on the week?
No, it's not a goal. It's just playing a lot of people out of necessity because we're so banged up right now. We've got so many guys hurt between season-ending injuries, between guys who are day to day because of how beat up we are with the ridiculous schedule we played. So it's a matter of guys just doing the best they can to fill in and trying their best to get through a football game.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Thank you. Have a good day.